This is going to be a long video, and that's okay, because you're getting to know me, and I've been around a while. Through the trees, my song will call out for you. Hello, everyone. If you've been around for a long time, I have made videos like these before, but they're no longer up on the channel. I might put them back up. I don't know yet. But hello, I'm Mia, and for those of you who don't know how to say my last name, Arsenault. It's French, a very East Coast Canadian. Anyway, we're already getting into it, I guess. I'm Mia, and I wanted to make a video, basically kind of like an introduction of like who I am and how I've gotten myself on this path. Although I wouldn't say I got myself on this path, it was very much laid out for me. But I wanted to just get into sort of like my history in music and being an artsy person, and also talk a little bit about as well the fact that I'm a witch. I'm very pagan, I'm very animistic. I won't get into I won't get into it very deeply because that's not necessarily what this channel is about, but I do want you to know up front that that's the vibes here. Very earthy, very whimsical, also very powerful. So, yeah, let's get to it. So first things first, who the heck am I? And I would say always to that, and I've been hearing it in my head so often lately, but 24601, if you know, you know. I do have the fan on in the background because it is so stinking hot here, so I'm not going to ask for forgiveness. I'm just saying it's on in the background. That's what that noise is. I am Canadian. I was born in the East Coast. I have a very, maybe not culturally because I wasn't really raised in it, but Canadian French, East Coast Canadian French, not Quebecer. There's a difference. Also Irish and Scots with a little smattering of other sort of European roots in there as well. That's just me. I mean, that's just very East Coast. That's what it is out there. So I have been singing since I can remember. I feel like I'm a little bit of a weirdo in this, but I'm somebody who has like a lot of memories from like even early childhood, and I remember singing a lot. We often lived outside of the town that I'm from out there, and so on the drives I was always listening to the radio and always singing along. My sister would fall asleep because that's what she would do, but I cannot fall asleep. No. So I must sing, and I do remember specifically like playing outside and hearing the radio on, or being in the car and listening to the radio and figuring out that I liked to sing harmonies. I remember thinking to myself, oh, I can do this thing and it makes the music sound better to me, because I'm picking up on those harmonics, even as a baby. But that's the thing. I mean, music is in all of us. Art is in all of us. We all have the capacity to do all the arts. Depending, even not depending, you can do all the arts. We have so many more tools now for even folks who are differently abled. You could do it all. But it's in us. It is ingrained in us. It is part of our DNA just to create. I remember I can't remember exactly what age it was, maybe 5 or 6 years old. I had never thought at that point that, oh, hey, I'm a singer, I can sing while I want to sing. But there was one day in church, I grew up in church, not a churchy person now, but Christ was a very cool dude. But I remember in church, my grandpa saying, I think to my mom, but I just remember my grandpa saying this, that, oh, she can sing really well. She's got a good voice. So that was kind of like the spark of, hey, wait, I'm a singer. And then that also tied into having seen The Little Mermaid at the time, and singing being magic, singing being so like entwined with who a person is. I mean, say what you will about the love story, like he fell in love with her because of her voice, which we're not going to get into it here, but anyway, that was a huge sort of film for me as a kid, just absolutely loving it. I will also be making a video, I think soon, of basically like all my sort of musical influences, the things like I've listened to a lot of music in my time, obviously, we all have, but there's like particular things that I think would be cool to share that are like these touchstones on my journey as a musician and an artist. So we'll do that at some point, but there will definitely be some things mentioned in here as well. So going forward, we moved to Ontario. My family and I moved to Ontario when I'm a kid. So in church, I had other people notice that I was also a good singer. The pastor's wife, she had noticed that I could sing as well. I'm not even sure how. I don't know if maybe my mom or something said something about it, or maybe she just noticed at one point. But anyway, I ended up singing. I think the first thing I did was sing a Mother's Day song, just a solo. I remember singing, standing by the piano as she played, the pastor's wife, and like no stage presence yet. But also, I don't really remember being like crazy nervous about it either. Like obviously you always get a little bit of performance anxiety. That's just normal and natural. You're sharing something of yourself that is really vulnerable with other people. That's what happens anytime you share your art or anything that you're really interested, that you have like a deep love for. Doesn't matter if it's something that you create or if it's something that you just love. So yeah, and it went well. I did it well. And then I ended up singing the verses solo at that same church for Go Tell It on the Mountain at the Christmas concert. Yeah, it was a concert. There was a bunch of people doing a lot of stuff at that, I remember. And yeah, so those were my first sort of like live performances in front of people. Pretty young. I think I want to say like 8, 9 years old, that sort of thing. But yeah, it was a good time, and I'm grateful for, I mean, this is the thing we need to do in communities and stuff like that, is recognize the ways in which we all sparkle and try to bring that out more, right? Especially in kids, because kids might not necessarily know. Like I said, I didn't really realize that like my singing was something particular about me, but it was. And then as soon as I found out, oh wait, I'm going down this path, because I absolutely love it, first of all, because I was singing all the time, like all the freaking time. I had a hard time falling asleep as a kid because my circadian rhythms are not early bird rhythms, so I had a hard time falling asleep at night, so I would just sing to myself. My sister would fall asleep and be snoring away, and I would be singing to myself. So getting into sort of middle school area, I moved back down east for a couple of years, and there I ended up, we started up doing band stuff in grade 6? I think it might have grade 6. And I chose the trumpet. It was clarinet at first, but then I chose the trumpet. I'm not even really sure why. It might have been because my friend had chosen it as well, and then there were also a couple other clarinet players, and I wanted to be more singular. Hello. Also, the trumpet, not that I knew that at the time, but the trumpet gets a lot of solos. Like, you just do. When you're in band stuff, you get a lot of solos, which, perfect for me, because, hello. So, I ended up doing, like I just said, I ended up doing some solos on the trumpet in middle school, between grade 7 and 8, which is really fun. It's not, I think for me, performing isn't necessarily about showing off. I mean, it is to a certain degree, because obviously us, like, showing the things that we're really good is always sort of like, look what I can do, look what I have worked on in order to be able to do this, like, in a really cool, like, good way, right? Like, you're listening to this, or you're seeing this, and I know that what you're seeing is, you like that, right? But it's always been, and it's like morphed over time for me, but like when I was younger, it was always like I was touching magic with that, There's something magic in that. It not only just me singing in my room made me feel like magic, but especially me singing in front of people. Not family though. I would never sing in front of family, not really. It's too close. As a kid anyway. But it's just knowing that you're putting out energy that other people are picking up on and you're sharing that energy together. It's magic. And so here's where I'm gonna start, let's put in some of the ways in which I discovered I was pagan and witchy and stuff like that. We're gonna backtrack just a couple of years because before I moved down east, I had watched the film The Craft. And wake-up call for many young girls and probably a lot of older people as well, to be honest with you. The connection to nature, the magic in that film, especially when they were out in nature, was just so potent to me. And I knew, because I had already been struggling, in church to be like, oh, well, I guess I'm this. I guess I believe these things, which I think I believe what Christ actually wanted. I believe in the way that he fought for people to just be kind to one another and love one another and be in very good community with each other, to lift each other up and support each other, and also call out the people who are harming people, usually rich people, that stuff I very much believe in. Very much. It's the core, I think, of most humans. Most humans want to see each other be well taken care of, So finding paganism and seeing more of the interconnectedness with nature, that was like hello. Because as a kid, I was outside all of the time. I loved to be out in the forests. I loved to be climbing trees. I loved to be on my bike and scrape my knees so many freaking times on gravel roads. There was one summer, there was a gravel road close to us, and for some stupid reason, I kept on taking the turn around the corner very fast. Not good for my knees, but thankfully, they're, I was young enough. There doesn't seem to be any remaining scarring somehow. So even though I finally sort of understood this connection to nature and magic, and myself interconnected with nature and greater spirit at that time, the witchiness, the paganism was not as connected as it would become to music. And I think part of it is just because, all the books that I read at that time and up until, honestly, really, I still haven't found much, but there wasn't much mention of music being magic, of music being a powerful way to do magic, to cast spells, or to worship nature or worship deities, call to our deepest selves. I wasn't finding that anywhere. That was not coming up. A lot of things were just, focused in on the herbalism. I can't remember what you freaking call that, but when you sort of mimic something, but so when you have a little puppet of somebody or yourself or something, and you're, putting love into that, it's like you're putting love into yourself. So it was more focused on that, which was fine. It very much calls to me anyway still. But yeah, there wasn't, and my brain was just not getting to the point yet where it was like, hey, no. Music can be the way in which I do magic, or other musical people can do magic. So we're at getting into high school now. So I meet witchy friends in high school. I do band in high school, still playing trumpet, still doing solos, really good time. And then I end up singing at, all of the concerts. Also, I went in drama, because I went in drama. I know. Ended up singing because another friend who wasn't into the arts really, but she always loved listening to me sing, I was always singing the diva dance from Fifth Element. The first part of it is Lucia di la Marmure from Lucia di la Marmure, right? That's what it's called? I'm pretty sure it's called that. Anyway, so the first part is opera. And then the second part is crazy, like modern, this industrial dance music opera stuff. Really cool. They were doing stuff that like you kind of can't do with your voice, and you can hear it. But I figured out a way to sing it myself in a way that made sense and I was able to do. So I sang that for one concert. It was pretty great. Oh, there was also my high school's name's got talent. Or wait, no, it wasn't that. It was Idol. Idol, that's what it was. And I won that. It was such a good time. It was just silly. It was very good. But yeah, just I love performing. I love being on stage. I love the magic that's created there. I love singing songs that people really connect with, because there would be other people from other social groups that I didn't really hang out with, but we were all pretty cool, even though some of them could be jerks to other people in my grade and stuff like that, or other people in the school. But they would always come up to me and just be like, I really love that you sang this song. That's my favorite song. It was so beautiful. And, the connection that you can forge with art, it's unbeatable. It is unbeatable. Magic. Okay? Magic. Then in the last year of high school that I did, we did Les Mis. And I'm pretty sure we did that because I think it was either my drama teacher who ended up directing it, or it might have been my music teacher who led the band for it. But one of them asked me what musical I would like to do. Oh, wait, and I totally just forgot about that. Okay, so, and I said Les Mis because that was like the first musical that I had ever listened to in grade 8. Going back again, grade 8, my teacher, she was a musical girly as well, okay? And I think she might have shown me the music one day after school or something like that, because I used to stay and chat. We had a really lovely relationship, a teacher-student relationship. It was great. And she showed me that. And then I ended up buying the album, and I listened to it. I didn't see it because at that point in time, it's not like I could go look for that on the internet. Listened to it, and I got obsessed with it. It was so good. It was so very good. And it was the original cast recording too, so great singers on there. And she had asked me if I wanted to, for grade 8 graduation, if I had wanted to sing I Dreamed a Dream, which is a pretty sad song for grade 8 graduation, but also pretty great. So I sang that for grade 8 grad. And then come the end of high school, we're doing Les Mis, and I'm playing Fantine. Even though my voice isn't quite for that, but I understand why they picked me, I have a very high voice. Some of those notes, especially where at that age I wasn't focusing on building a very strong foundation in chesty voice. I'm not going to sing right now because people are sleeping right now, but just like really getting into that. So even that B was pretty hard. That B just below middle C was hard for me to get when the tires come at night. But oh my goodness, the freaking magic in doing that. I'm getting emotional thinking about it right now because I was talking to my partner a while ago about what performing feels like for me, and it's like something holy, something so magical, and it just like vibrates through the whole of me. And I know that I feel that the people who are in the audience and the people who are with me on stage. And it's not just because it's me, it's because we're doing this holy thing, There's a reason why, like the Eleusinian mysteries and all these things, all this theater has been so important to us for so long. I'm definitely going to make a video about how important I feel storytelling is, because it's truly one of the most important things we do, and art is the best multi-mediums for that. So doing Fantine, just really freaking feeling that, so good. It's so good. So after high school, after leaving on a very high note of playing Fantine in Les Mis, we moved to a different city here in Ontario, and I wanted to do music, but like I'm telling you, I have issues with depression and anxiety, and so being in a place where I'm alone, like the anxiety really started sort of ramping up at that point. But I did end up getting some voice lessons out there, and then decided while I was there I wanted to go to school for music finally, and we ended up moving across the freaking country and Canada is a very large country, so from Ontario to Vancouver, crazy. So yeah, finally got to school. I had a wonderful year and a half, but in that second year that I was doing, I really started getting burnt out. I was loving what I was doing. I really was. But I was just really getting burnt out. And I think a lot of it was like, again, I had moved far away from all my family and stuff like that. And, I made a best friend out there and stuff like that. And we still talk. Oh, and I studied opera. Duh, I should have prefaced that with this. But just realizing that I didn't want that opera sort of lifestyle. I wanted roots. I wanted to be situated in a place. And I know I could have done that, but at that time, it's just like when you're young and you hear about like, oh, you want to do classical music. Well, this is the pathway you do. And you go to Europe and you're moving all over the place all the time just to be in these shows. And I could do opera now. Like I could just do it right now. I could do it on here as my platform. But when you're young, and you hear that things are sort of supposed to be a certain way, and this is the path that you're supposed to take, and this is how we are laying out the path for you to walk to be on this, it just became very stifling. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to have roots. I want to be able to travel and perform sometimes, I think that would be lovely, but it's not something that I want to do all the time. So after a year and a half, I decided to take the next semester off. And I thought I was going to come back in the fall, but I didn't end up doing that. But I learned so much about my voice there, which is really great. Because when I had first started singing opera, kind of self-taught at home and stuff like that, I was unfortunately doing a lot of the... You'll hear an opera, if you listen to opera, you'll know. But like, especially because I was doing coloratura, soprano coloratura stuff. So my voice is very not robust. My voice is like very clear and high. And there's this thing that I kept on hearing from sopranos, even when they're doing coloratura stuff, and it was like they're just like opening up their vocal cords, just the tract to get that bigger sound, and I started singing kind of trying to do that, and so I had people think that I was a mezzo, but that's not where my voice is. So like immediately my voice teacher started to get me to try to also speak where my voice sits naturally, which was like so good. And like to sing in that space where it's so comfortable instead of trying to make it sound deeper and bigger and more robust, right? Anyway, really good. Loved it. This is gonna be a long video. And that's okay, because you're getting to know me, and I've been around a while. So, while I'm in school for opera, I ended up joining a coven. So here we're interspersing here, and the great thing about that coven is that they're very into music. Not necessarily doing music as the spell itself, or as the vector for magic itself, but definitely using music and ritual to affect the vibe, the energy that we needed, right? Very musical, very good. I love you guys. Yeah, it was really wonderful being out there and being with them, being with a group that was like, focusing in on magic and focusing in on expanding spirituality and our understanding of not just the physical world, but how, the spirit world interconnects with everything, and always encouraged to do that. Also the place where I first played D&D, and now I want D&D all the time. All the time, okay? I watch D20 all the time, okay? Alright. So, after this, I had spent, I think, another, I'd say a year and a half after I was done with school, I spent out there. I did notice, too, that the weather, especially in the winter, because there's just simply no sun, again, where I have depressive stuff and anxiety stuff, like, the no sun was so not good for my mental health. So not good. So, yeah, I decided I wanted to come back home. I was kind of untethered, unmoored, You know, my anchor was up. Music was still so important to me, but I felt lost for the first time. And I had been a person who had been so driven in music before this. So came back to Ontario, and I've been here ever since, and this is where I want to stay. There's somewhere where I would like to move to my forever home, but this is where I want to stay. This is my home. And this is where my friends and family are, you know, like the biggest bulk of my friends and family. So I ended up starting a tea shop, and then I barely sang. And I mean just even for myself. I barely sang for about 7 years. And that was, I look at that and I just, like, I don't even sing all the time like I used to when I was a kid now. I'm not even singing every day. I'm usually humming and things though. Like, music is there. I'm either listening to it or, you know, working on things. But yeah, you know, dealing with the leftover depression that I had out west and coming here. So I started my tea shop, which has been closed for 3 years now because I was like, no. Music. It was called The Forest Witch. And I really enjoyed doing that. And it really tapped into, well, the witchy part of things, of, you know, working with herbs and spices and things, making these magical tea blends. And that was fine. But I definitely by like year 3 or 4, maybe 5, like in that period, it just progressively kept on being like, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing, Mia. This isn't your heart's path in this life. And that's fine. That's fine. We can veer off sometimes, you know. Even somebody like me who knew from the get-go that music was it for me. So then I started making music again. My first music video on here, my first cover was Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, because of course it was. I love The Witcher, okay? Love The Witcher. And that was really fun. I spent way too long. I spent like a year, and this is the hilarious thing about putting stuff out there, is like, especially the first few things, you take so long because you want it to be perfect. And I listen to it now, and I would love to remix it at some point, maybe even re-sing it, because eventually, I think a couple years into, because I put that out, I think at the beginning of 2019, yeah, because it wasn't Plague Times yet. I put that out at the beginning of 2019, or maybe I put it out at the beginning of 2020. I don't know. I can't remember. We can go look if we want to. I put that out, and then I kept on doing covers of things, and I was feeling good, but there was like, it must have been some sort of mental block that I kind of put on my voice, and I never had issues with singing before, but it was like I had no stamina singing. I think partly it might have been just like feeling so unsure of myself, because like, this isn't the path that I was supposed to be on. I was supposed to be an opera singer, and you know, like, I don't know if it was sort of that sort of stuff. I honestly can't sort of like recall what sorts of thoughts and feelings I was having about it at the time, but I could only sing for a short period of time. I couldn't sing past an hour at all. I had done Twitch streaming for a little bit, and it was building, which was really good, but then I ended up getting voice lessons again, which was just, I mean, literally the first freaking lesson that I had with her. I'm going to actually shout her out. It's Emily Steers, and she's wonderful. I sought her out because I was really interested in doing Renaissance music, but now I want to do my own music. But with, you know, the flares of medieval and Renaissance and early Baroque stuff, you know, because I love that stuff. And like troubadour and troubadours music. But yeah, literally the first session that I had with her, it was like, oh, hello, there's my voice again. There's my voice again. And I cried about it. Actually, this was literally 2 weeks after my baby dog passed away. So we cried about it. We definitely cried about it. But like really worked on, like I was talking about earlier, that lower voice and making my chesty voice like a strong foundation to support all of the work that I do up high, but also be able to tap into anything lower that I need to do, which is so freaking useful, especially, you know, as me doing all my music myself and stuff like that. I can evoke certain voices that I need for whatever kind of vibe I'm doing, because, you know, if you've been around for a while, and I'm assuming it's basically people who are already subscribed who are watching this video, but you know that I like to do a lot of covers of like video game music or film music and television and stuff like that, because I love storytelling, and in storytelling you use voices, you use like crazy voices sometimes, so really being able to tap into that, wonderful, so good. I'm so glad I got the voice lessons. So here's where, and it seems like kind of like late, but here's where finally it clicked for me that magic is music. Music is magic, you know? And it's funny because there's this saying that I've seen so many times in like witchy books and stuff like that, you know, magic is art, like the art of magic, know your art sort of thing. I can't remember the exact phrase, but finally, especially after focusing so long on channeling sort of like the stories that I loved into both teas, but also starting to do it into music as well, started really seeing how magic it is. And I guess sort of understanding how singing makes me feel, how performing makes me feel, because, you know, I said that it's holy to me, it's magic to me, and I don't think I ever really sort of like verbalized that to myself, so it never really clicked in place that these things are woven together. So finally I did, and then I started writing some music myself. Actually, I wrote these back in like, I think the summer of 2021, but the song that I have, Running To, which is inspired by The Witcher, and it's about Ciri. There's two other songs that I have that I need to release. One is from sort of Geralt's perspective, and then the other one is from Yennefer's perspective. They're going to get released soon because the instrumentals are basically done, and I also feel very strong in my voice. Oh, actually, the one of them, my voice is already fine in it. It's good. It's perfect. It's pretty much done. I should just release it. But how quickly those came out, how easily the words came through, and how much it was just like, and I'm not saying that making art is easy like that all the time, because it certainly freaking isn't. I'm working, you know, I have a song that I started last month, and I can't figure out the second verse, and actually I'm starting to think that maybe there isn't a second verse. So it's like getting out of your own way, right? But really started to see the magic in it, and I was definitely hearing the magic of my music, of my musical vision, my musical soundscape in the stuff that I was doing, especially when I was making up the instrumentals to not sound like either the original song, like for Scarborough Fair, My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose, just where I was creating my own story with the music. And it just, again, it's not a hubristic thing, but it's just like, I am hearing exactly, I'm creating exactly the sonic vibrations that make me vibrate, that send energy right through me, and I can feel it. I can feel the connection to that music, and I can feel the connection to everything around me through this. And it was like, oh, hello, okay, I'm a music witch, 100%. This is where my true magic is. This is where I am most potent. And like, yes, I'm potent even when I'm singing other songs and stuff like that, but songs that aren't necessarily about magic, but it's all about magic. It is all about connection. Music is all about connection. So I wrote a spell song this past year, in January? No, I wrote it in November of 2024. Okay. And then I finally released it in March. And it's called The Fall of Monsters. And that was just, it requires nothing else. It is just what it is. It requires no ritual. It requires no setting up, because music is something that just taps into and aligns you to the exactness. You know, this is what art does. This is why art's so important, but it lines you up into the exact frame where you can send your energy into that too. Which is why I think underneath it I said something like, which is a non, which is a like, or something, listen to this song, sing it, let's make it freaking powerful. But I know it's powerful on its own. I know what it was that came through me for it. So yeah, so Music Witch, hello. Hello, hello. I think we're pretty much caught up. And we got to the point, it took a long freaking time for me to understand that my, music is the sort of like epitome of all of the magic that flows through me. It always was. It always was. It's just now I understand it. But yeah, so here's the video. Here's me. Hi, hello. I know this will only sort of pertain to the time frame that this is released, but I would like to do some more videos about sort of like my art stuff, but also like what sorts of things are going through my mind as an artist at different points in time. So I would like to just share some of the things that I have picked up along the way. Maybe sometimes took a long time to learn, and yeah, and we can chat about it, and you guys can share, the things that you have learned too. But yeah, I wanted to do some talky videos because I'm currently working on something that I would like to release in a couple of months, a bigger project. Well, I'll just say it because it's not really a surprise or anything like that. It's what everybody does. But I'm putting out a Yuletide album with some of the songs that I've already done, and also some new songs as well, about a handful or so of new songs, new Yuletide songs, oldie songs, and I think one song of my own. Or no, there's another song that I wrote years ago on there. But yeah, so I'm working on that right now, so I don't think I'm going to have time to do any cover songs or anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then after that I have a very, very large project which I won't talk about yet, but a very, very large project I never thought I would be doing in my life. Yes, it's music, but it's I'm so excited for it. I'm very, very, very excited for it. So I want to get through finishing up the Yule stuff and then get to working on that. So yeah, but releasing music isn't going to be as often. I do have other songs to release other than the Yuletide stuff that I already have the backing tracks for. I just have to freaking record me singing it because, of course, that's the way. I think that's pretty much it. And this was my musical, magical, mystical path to being a music witch today. And I hope you'll stick around for the other videos. And if not, that's fine too. If you're just here for the music, I'm totally down for that. So thank you so much, very much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.